Hi everyone! So I thought I'd do a bit of a technique today. I've not done this before, so we're going to see how it works out, fingers crossed. But it's a masking fluid, or masking technique, using a masking fluid. So another way that you can mask is to stamp your image twice. So stamp it on the piece that you want to use and stamp it again onto some like post-it tape or something that's sort of a temporary adhesive on it. You can use the full backed post-it notes as well, and that way when you cut it out you then lay it over the image, and when you colour your background it won't get on the image however you choose to colour your background. But I've had this for quite a while and been a bit nervous about using it, so I thought I'd actually give it a go. Now you need to shake it up really well. It's got like a yellow tint to it, which is quite nice because you can see where you've gone. And then it's called, this is a Winsor & Newton Watercolour Mediums Art Masking Fluid. And I also suggest that you have a dedicated brush. I've actually stuck a label on here and labelled it masking fluid, because the brush itself, even though I've cleaned it as well as I can, it's still got some of the gum that it creates stuck in it. So I have a dedicated brush, and it is quite liquidy, so it's kind of, well, I say it's liquid, it's kind of weird to work with, but it moves really easily. So it was really easy to get into even these tiny little details and things like that, which I wouldn't want to cut out. So yeah, I mean, there's a handbag handle over here. Let me zoom in. So over here there's a little handle on a handbag, and I could get in there, so even with a brush size 3, but you could do a smaller brush if you needed to, or have a couple of them. But like I say, keep it separate. It's a bit like your bleaching brush, keep it separate, don't use it for anything else. So that's that. The other thing I've done is I've actually taped it to this is actually a clipboard, but it's just some of this hardboard. You could use something that's not going to warp, so something like a wooden cutting board would work as well, but I found they're quite expensive, so these are quite inexpensive to get. And obviously don't use something with plastic on it, because if you're heat setting at the same time that you're watercolouring with it, it will, you know, the plastic might melt. Well, not melt, but it might get heated and warped. I've got two brushes here. I've got a Boldmere. It's just one from the works, so it's a really inexpensive brush. It's just a flat head. And then I've got a De La Roni number 12 round. I'm just using bigger brushes, that's all it's for. I'm also going to use for the background, I've got Distress Oxides in Salty Ocean and Faded Jeans, and then I've got Distress ink, the normal one, in Tumbled Glass. I decided the Tumbled Glass, because it's just a dye ink, which means it's translucent. I thought it would be really good on the snow bit at the bottom, and then these would be nice for the sky. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it works out. I'm going to move her over so that on my mat, my non-stick, I can just use it as a palette. And then I also have my Stampin', which I'm going to use with the stamp for the inside of the card, which I haven't actually cut yet, but we'll get to that. Somewhat organised. Halfway there. And then I have some water, although this is dirty water, it's water. It's fine. It's fine, it'll do. so now that that's mostly dry, I've still got ink everywhere, I'm going to use a distress sprayer. I didn't think I ever needed one. Seriously, get yourself one. I think Nouveau also have the same type of thing, but I love it because of the way that you can either trigger it just slightly, or you can do a full-on spray, and it works. I don't know how they do it, but it works. Who would have thought? Because have you ever sprayed with a little spray bottle and you just land up with this really long line and not a spray or a spritz, which is what you want. So I'm going to do this over here. Again, we've still got all that masking fluid on because we haven't even coloured the image in. And I'm just going to spritz some water. Now, being oxide inks, they will oxidize, that's the thing behind them, and they will move, so hopefully they will still do that even though I've dried it off. I didn't think about that. Otherwise we'll just add some more and then we'll do it that way. So leave it about, I don't know, 20-30 seconds. I don't count, I just kind of watch it for a bit, and then if you do this, it still works. That is amazing. And it is like Christmas. It's a bit like when we take the masking fluid off. It's going to be like Christmas. It will. I know, that's sad that I think that, but I do. Can't help it. Can you see? That's spritzy. Oh. So now it looks like she's actually outside in the snow. Amazing. Amazing. Now this bottom bit here, to me, is just a little bit too... I kind of feel like I still need a bit more colour here. So I might just water down the... If I really water down this colour, which is the Faded Jeans, let's just see if I can get a bit of... I just want some colour here. I don't want a ton of it. And I don't want it to be blue as such, but I just want it to be a bit, just have a bit of a tint, if you know what I mean. I know that probably looks like I've just taken it all off, but I think also it will stand out more when we take the masking fluid off from the bottom. It should hopefully stand out more. So what we need to do now is let that completely dry. You can air dry it as well, sorry, with your heat tool, but I'm going to let it dry, air dry for a bit, and then probably after dinner I'll come back and we'll take the tape off, and then we can start to reveal this bit here, and all the images. So hopefully it's worked. So like I say, the masking fluid is kind of like tacky. It's kind of weird. It doesn't dry completely, so it's not smooth. It's a bit bizarre, but it's kind of nice because at least you know, and also with the tint colour, you know exactly where it is. So yeah. So let me air dry it. Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. Let me leave it to dry, air dry for a bit, and then I'll come back. I don't think you want to rub that off while it's still a bit damp. So yeah, we'll leave it to do that, and I'll see you in a bit. Right, so now it's all dry, taking it off the board, and well, it's mostly dry. It's a little bit damp. So yeah, I'm going to now take off the, what's it called? The masking fluid. You can either just use your finger and gently rub over it and it just kind of balls up. So you could do that and it will just come off like a little ball of goop. Or you can use a adhesive eraser, and that's just much quicker and easier. So still go gently and it just comes off. Saves your fingers as well. Right, so for those of you who don't know Peerless, let me just zoom out. They are a highly pigmented watercolour paper. It's kind of weird, but it's amazing at the same time. So this is the bonus pack that comes in, like, you get 40 roughly 2x2 inch pieces. Some of them are a little bit bigger. And these are the colours that you have. Now the thing with Peerless is that there's a whole story on the back as well. Basically, it's on a piece of paper. So one side is like the backing, but this side has got the actual colour on it. So you need to keep them dry. They will last you forever, unless you do this all the time. And there's also special things, so you can cut off pieces of it and soak it in water and get like a watered like a liquid watercolour, if that makes sense, from the ink that's in there, because they're super pigmented. So, and the other thing is they don't look like the colour they are. So that colour there is actually amber yellow. That's the name of it, and that's the colour that it should be. So you can see some of them look like they kind of in that range, but say down there that doesn't look like it should be blood red. So that's the other neat thing about it. So I'm going to use these. I don't know. Oh, and what I've done, I've just used some Bristol board, and I've just sort of divided the pages up, and I just stuck the whole piece on. I don't travel with them, although this would travel fine anyway, but I don't travel with my craft stuff. So for me, I didn't want to, you know, some people will cut up little pieces, you know, cut like an inch square and then make like a little booklet of it. You can do that too, but I just used, because they were sample pieces in the slightly smaller pack, I just put them on a sheet like this, wrote the colour of the name, sorry, the name of the colour underneath it, and then did a little swatch so I could see what the colour looks like. And the reason I use Bristol board is because, one, it's very white, and two, it's can you see it's rubbing off there? Look at my fingers, and the moisture from your fingers will come off on it. I don't know if you can see that. That's how pigmented it is. Right, so yeah, so I've got the name of the colour, and then I've got just a little sample so I can see what that colour is. Like I say, that doesn't look like yellow to me, but that does. And I've got, let's see, 4, 8, 12. I've got 12 on a sheet, so one of the sheets actually has 4 on them. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably speed through this bit. I'll zoom in so you can see. I'll just demonstrate quickly before I do that bit. I'll just demonstrate the amount of colour that you get. So I've just got some water, as you do. Oh, let me get one of these as well. Just a bit of tissue next to me. Paper towel, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to, let's see, what red? Is there a different red in here? In fact, let's go to the next page. And also the reason they're in plastic is because if these are a bit wet, you don't want them sticking to each other. So that's another reason I've kept them somewhat separate. So just see, like, these colours don't necessarily look, that's like butterfly wing blue. Doesn't even look blue. Don't know. They're amazing. They're so amazing. Right, so let's do this. So I'm gonna take let's take Poinsettia Red. No, let's take Scarlet Lake. Let me zoom in for you. Right. So Scarlet Lake. Let's do the little bows here. So do you see I've barely touched the actual what's it called? The little swatches here, and this is the ink, and I'm still gonna go and go and go. That one little brush. Just goes and goes and goes. So I'm going to grab a little bit more water, a little bit more ink. Slightly darker one. They're just super pigmented and I just love them. Apparently they've been going since 1885 or something. So, been around a while. Right, so let's finish this. So I've added some puffy paint. This is a Dovecraft puffy paint, and if you heat set it, it goes all like fluffy. It's really weird. So I can't decide if I like it or not, but I've got it on her hat, what's this called? Jumper. And then on the fluffy bits here on her shoes. Just for a bit of interest. So, got a piece of cardstock. This measures, I believe, don't know where my ruler is, I believe this is 8.5 by 5.5. Folded in half at 4 1/4. And this is Marina Mist Stampin' Up cardstock. And it was one that I already had, so I thought the colour kind of worked with the background colour. So before I get onto that, I'm going to stamp my sentiment. Now I've pulled out an old stamp set from my pink stamper, called this one, if you've got it. It's well loved, obviously. And this is called, what are you called? Winter Puns? Yeah, Winter Punnies. She no longer makes them or sells them. So if you've got some, then, you know, great. If not, it's only because I thought this pun was quite, well, I just thought the sentiment was quite appropriate. So it says, a little birdie told me it's cold outside. And there's a little bird, so, you know. And then this one says, wishing you the best Christmas ever, which goes on the inside. And this is from I used this last year. Yeah, last year I think. I used this image on one of my, I think it was the first or second Christmas card I made last year. And this actually came with a magazine, and it's a massive set of just a mixture of stamps. Can't remember who it is, if that makes sense. I don't remember the company name. Sorry. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Majig. So if you don't know, you have this little handle thing. You have a piece of like plasticky stuff. You're going to take the corner and butt it into the corner of the Stampin' Majig. Oh, you're going to have your ink ready as well. And you're going to take your stamp. This bit doesn't have to be perfect, but you just need to, it's just for lining up. So you've got that butted up into the corner there. You're going to put the corner of your block into the corner of the handle, and then just press down. So that will line up. So you can see that's not straight. So it may look straight on here, but it's obviously not. So then you're going to take your, and I didn't think about these bobbly bits, but you're going to take, this is like a sheet, a template almost, and you can see through it, and you're going to line it up where you want to put the little phrase saying where it is. So let's see if I can line this up. So I'm going to line it up about there. You're going to then rebutt the corner into there. Oh, see, I'm moving my paper, hold on. I need to weigh down the paper itself. Let's try that again. If you've got some temporary adhesive, you can use that as well. Right, so let's try and line that up again where I want it. You're going to take this bit away. Let's hope it hasn't moved. You're going to take your stamp again. We haven't changed your stamp, you haven't moved it, you haven't done any of that. You're going to line it up in the corner like you did before and stamp it down and hope that it's straight. Straight enough. There you go. Little birdie told me it's cold outside. Isn't that cute? Anyway, so I'm going to do the same thing on the inside. So my card, I just have to remember it's going to go this way. This side fold card. And this should be okay because I've got enough space here for the sentiment. So we're going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to use the same thing, and I'm going to turn it round, but I'm going to butt it up into the corner again, take the other stamp that I've got on the block, and then line this up, get my template, line this up as best I can where I think I might want it, and if it's not totally straight, that's okay. Do the same thing again. I think that will work. And I'm just using some Versamark ink because it's a waterproof ink, and I just find that it's really not Versamark, Versafine ink. I just find that it's a really good crisp image that you get from it. So there's the inside, lovely, and it dries pretty quickly as well, and it dries permanent, so yay. That wasn't too squonk, so that's okay. It's a technical term. So, do I want it flat on there, or should I raise it? Should I raise it up? No, let's just do it flat. So, not sure. No, let's wait. I don't know. No, let's go flat. Right. So what? Oh, this is what I want. Some adhesive all the way around. It's just, oh, because this is warped slightly, I want to try and get a little bit closer to the edges here, just because it had warp. Now this is a little tip. If, like me, you can't line things up properly, because I can't, and if I had to open this out, even though the school line's there, I can't line it up properly. So what I tend to do is I open it, and then, so that's the right way up if it's open. I need this like so, but I'm actually going to open it up and turn it upside down, and then that way I can line up this edge as best I can, and as even in the corners as I can. There's probably a lot more of you that are much better at this than me, but that's just how I do it. And even then I don't always get it right, because I think I cut the skew anyway, so it's a bit squonk there. Ah, never mind. Right, so what I am going to use now, which what have I done with it? Oh, hold on. I don't know what I did with it. Oh, there you go. Right, what I am going to do is I'm going to use a Spectrum Noir, it's called Crystal Clear, it's just like a shimmery pen, and I'm going to use this, and I think I might grab one of the other cuts. I'll show you in a minute. And where I had these lines, let me zoom in. Where I had these lines of what's it called? Oh, a little bit of paint on there. Whoops. Can't think, guys. What's it called? The old masking fluid. Hello. Where I had that, I'm going to try and, I don't know if this has run out actually. Whoa. That's better. I'm just going to kind of, somewhat randomly, not being too fussy about it, I'm just going to shove a load of this on. Shove, technical term. And there's a bit of colour that seems to have got in there from somewhere. There's a bit of red there. I don't know where it's come from. But I don't know if this will pick up. But when that dries, there will be shimmery bits So, what else should we sparkle? Let's sparkle a handbag and a hat. So I think everything needs sparkle. And do you see how the colour transfers? So you just need a piece of paper or a one of these just to get that off. And the only reason it's doing that is because the colours that we use, the Peerless colours, are water based. So if you used alcohol markers, you wouldn't have a problem. It wouldn't transfer. But you see how much ink comes off when it when it transfers across. I don't know where else to put it. Right, so now I think I'm just going to add a few of these babies. These are Nouveau glitter drops. This is Silver Moon Dust. Oh, sorry. Don't know if it'll focus, but these are amazing. Oh, I was playing with them the other day. Amazing. So I'm just going to randomly put these down, and the trick is to not touch your paper with the nozzle, and B, to go straight up and down with it. And I'll show you a bit better in a minute. And you can make them as big or as little as you like. Maybe just a couple down here. Oops, that one got all googly. There you go. And the amazing thing about these is that they will level out on their own. So if I turn this, and you see, I don't know, but you can kind of see them there, and they're already leveling out. Just so cool. So I like threes. Three's a magic number and all that. And they're just a bit sparkly in the background. So if you've never tried them, seriously, and they're not that expensive actually. I thought, oh, you know, they're kind of a new product, they've got a whole range, they're going to be a little pricey, but actually they're really, really reasonable. So compared to like some of the other brands out there that are in the same kind of range. But the thing that I really am pleased about is that they level, self-leveling, and they do actually self-level for once. For once, I've actually found something that does what it says on the tin when it comes to self-leveling with this, you know, with like liquid pearls, if you like, or liquid drops, that's what I mean. So yeah, you don't have to tap the bottom or any of that. So there you go, one Christmas card done. Hopefully that was somewhat informative because we did the Peerless colour. If you want a separate video on that, I can do another one just showing you Peerless and showing you how I'm storing them, etc. And then also there's a little bit on the oxides and the Nouveau drops. So hopefully that was you know, a good video. I actually think I forgot to show you what stamp set this is from, so I thought I'd better show you that. It's from the Christmas in the Making what? In the Making Stampin' Up. This is in their holiday catalogue 2017, so if you want that, then those are the stamps that come in it. Those are the images. So if you want that, then try and get your hands on it. It's a really nice, I like it because it's vintage-esque, and I think that's why I love it. Anyway, I'm waffling. So, one Christmas card done. Oh, and you need to leave these drops to dry for at least 24 hours. So, you know, a really good chunk of time before you decide to mail them or anything like that. So there you go, guys. See you in the next one. Bye!